Hey guys, so I haven't posted since the eclipse, and um, I just needed some time to just process everything because just there's a lot of things that were pointing to something happening on that day, and I am really glad that nothing did. I'm honestly glad. Like I said in my past videos, like I hope that like my I hope to be proven wrong, just based on things that I was finding. It just kind of seemed like, yeah, like something was gonna happen. I'm glad nothing did. um but it does turn out there was an earthquake, a pretty notable one, and I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. It was in Japan. I'm actually going with this video, I just really want to show how these earthquakes, they really are connected to the Bible, and that is why um there was still one on that day, because things just kept pointing to it. And I'm gonna backtrack to the beginning of the year, starting with the first earthquake that was on the first day of the year in Japan, and then I'm gonna move forward and show different examples of how the earthquakes that have been happening in the past few months since this one, how they are connected to the Bible. And that's all I want to accomplish with my work. Like I don't want to be like a predictor or anything like that. I just really want to show others like this really like undeniable element of the Bible, and how, yeah, like these events that are happening really are connected to it. So starting with the first earthquake that was in Japan on the first day of the year, 7.5. And unfortunately there were some deaths. And we're gonna be connecting these earthquakes to obviously Revelation 6:12 about the great earthquake. And we're gonna first be looking at these two or gematria values of the verse, of the whole verse, 1331, and that's the ordinal, and 593 in reduction. So those are the values of the whole verse with Revelation 6:12, that phrase in front of it. And also keep in mind that the 612th prime number is 4513. So this is something that I've shared in a past video, that Revelation 6:12 equals 593, like we just looked at, and the study of earthquakes began in 585 BC. So the 612th prime number, plus the 593rd plus the 585th prime numbers, when you add those three, it's 13,113, like 13113, 13113. So you would convert this into this date, 13113. So when you go from that date, 13113, going back like to 1913, so 13113 to the Japan earthquake, it was 4,000 or 40,513 days, like 4513, like 612 prime number. And also, when you look at the time based on the time zone, it actually, when the earthquake hit, it actually was still the 31st here on the west coast. So keeping that in mind, with going from that same date, that represents the three prime numbers, the big earthquake numbers, 13113. That was 1,331 months, 1331, just like how Revelation 6:12 equals 1331. So exactly 1331 months from that date to the Japan earthquake. And I included this just to show how like our calendar is just designed around the Bible and how it was written. And I mean, I guess I don't know, like this just can't be a coincidence. I don't really know how to word it, but you can just come up with your own conclusion. But this is just, it just shows a lot about our calendar and how it's connected to the Bible too. So 4513 of this year, 1813, or yeah, so again, that's the 612 prime number is 4513 when you convert it into the date 4513 of that year. And the 4513th prime number is 43,223, much like the date 4/3/2023. And so from this date to that date is 10,957 weeks, and that is the 1,331st prime number. So there's just no way that's just like a coincidence. There's absolutely no way. It was intelligently designed, and yeah, I mean, I don't believe there was an earthquake on that day, but it just really shows like there's a lot of clues about the calendar, and yeah, this is one of them. So the reverse value of Revelation 6:12 without the phrase in the front, it gets you 2,210. And the prime factorization of 2210 is 2 times 5 times 13 times 17. And that's the first, the third, the sixth, and seventh prime numbers, like 1, 3, 6, 7. So converting this into the date 2210 to that same Japanese earthquake we were just looking at, it's exactly 1,367 months. Like exactly. So that's just perfect. That is absolutely perfectly designed. There's you understand, right? So Revelation 6:12 equals 2210. The prime factorization of 2210 is the first, third, sixth, and seventh prime numbers, 1, 3, 6, 7, and it's exactly 1,367 months from 2 to 10 to the Japanese earthquake. Just perfect. So now we're gonna move on to this earthquake that happened the night of the Super Bowl, which I didn't hear much about, but it's interesting because it was a 4.8, just like in New York, but I don't know if a lot of people felt it. But yeah, let me show you how this is connected to the Bible. So during the first point that was scored in that game, it was with 14:48 on the clock. That's the time stopped at 14:48. And the 14th prime is 43. The 48th prime is 223, just like how 43223 is the 4,513th prime number, and 4,513 is the 612th prime number for Revelation 6:12 about the great earthquake. And 43 times 223, that's the prime factorization of 9,589. And so when you convert that into this date, 9589, Patrick Mahomes, the person who was the MVP, the star for the Chiefs, he was born 6 years and 12 days after 9589. So how perfect is that? The first point of the game gets you 43 and 223. 14th 1448, the 14th prime, 48th prime, and that is the 4513th prime, and 4513 is 612th prime. And then there was an earthquake after the game, but it was on like after midnight, but it was still like right after the game. So I think that's what really matters. And now we're going to be moving on to the Taiwan earthquake. And this is some stuff that I know I made a video about that earthquake already, but there's more information that I just didn't find at the time. But that's just how much there's so much that like I'm probably still going to be missing information after this. But looking at the 2210 again, sorry, ignore that, but I should have clicked, you guys know. But yeah, so Revelation 6:12, 2210 in reverse, and the second prime is 3, the second prime is 3, and the 10th prime is 29, 3329. Convert that into the date 3329. Now when you go from that date of this year, back in the 1700s, 3329, to the Taiwan earthquake, it's 3,541 months, and the 3,541st prime number is 33,029, 3329. So yeah, that's another perfectly pieced together event, I guess. And so we looked at the 1367 in regards to the 2210 again. So again, for the 2210, the prime factorization is the first, third, sixth, and seventh prime numbers. So 1367. And when you go from the date 1367 to the Taiwan earthquake, is exactly 687 months. And the prime factorization of 687 is 3 times 229, and 3229 is a 457th prime number, and earthquake equals 457 in satanic. And then when you go from the Taiwan earthquake going forward, 1367, so of this year instead, 1367, it's 513 months exactly, and earthquake equals 513 in reverse satanic. So yeah, just more and more. So again, remember, based on the time when that earthquake hit, it was the second still here. So that's gonna matter for this part. So earthquake equals 107 in ordinal value, and the 107th prime number is 587, and the 587th prime number is 4,273. So convert that into the date 4273, and when you go from that date to the Taiwan earthquake, it is 612 months, like Revelation 6:12 about the great earthquake. So two big earthquake numbers, 612 obviously, and then 585. Yeah, like how I showed in the beginning, that the study of earthquakes began in 585 BC. So 612 plus 585, it equals 1,197. And so again, the 585th prime number is 4261. So convert that into the date 4/26/1. So when you go from 4/26/1 to the Taiwan earthquake, it is 1197 weeks. Exactly, just like 612 plus 585 equals 1197. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And when you go, you guys remember the 1331 from the beginning? 1331, the ordinal value with the phrase in the beginning. So from 1331 of this year, 1831, 1331 to the Taiwan earthquake is exactly 2000 or 2319 months exactly. And that's something we talked about before, the 2319 code from Monsters Inc. It's when they come in contact with humans and then they have to quarantine, and there's like a whole emergency like shutdown. And then in the movie they show this like sign that resembles a nuclear symbol. And I learned this from one of 7-1's videos a while back. So this happened, this is like a scene right before he's about to pull the lever, and you can see the clock, the time is 9:45. You can see that, right? 9:45, and 9:45 a.m. is 585 minutes into the day, like how the study of earthquakes began in 585 BC. So if you go from the date 2319 to the Taiwan earthquake, it's 5 years, 8 weeks, and 5 days for 585 again. And now we're gonna go to the earthquakes that were on April 5th, and you guys know about the New York one, New York, New Jersey 4.8 earthquake that you're all talking about. But I think another lesser known earthquake that happened on the same day, there was earthquakes in California, 4.4 earthquakes, and I think way less people felt them than the New York ones, which might be why they were talked about way less. But I mean, regardless, still very notable. So I'm just gonna refer to it as the New York earthquake though, because that's the one that's like it's most, that day was mainly known for that, for the New York earthquake. So earthquake equals 107. We looked at already. The 107th triangular number is 5,778. And you convert that into this date, 5778, to the New York earthquake is 45 years, 10 months, and 3 days, like 4513, 4513, 4513, the 612 prime number, Revelation 6:12. And this is a there's another verse in Revelation which talks about the great earthquake, and is Revelation 16:18, and that is also the golden ratio, 16, 18, 1618. The ordinal value of that verse is 1531. You convert that into the date 1531. So if you go from that date 1531 of this year to the 4.5 earthquake, is 2319 months again. That's because this is actually 2 days after this one, but still, I mean, it worked out like that. 2 days after the Taiwan earthquake was the New York earthquake. So 23, 19 months. Still really, really connected. Like really, that's the ordinal value of this verse that talks about the Great Earthquake, 1531. So yeah, there's definitely something to that, And now this is going to be about the Japanese earthquake that was the day of the eclipse. And there's a strong connection with the 585 and the golden ratio number, the 1618, because 4261, remember, that is the 585th prime number. The 585th prime number is 4261, and the 4261st prime number is 40,693. So convert that into this date, 4693. And from that date to the Japan earthquake on the eclipse day, it was exactly 1618 weeks, like Revelation 16:18 about the great earthquake. And this part is really, really wild, and this is why I really thought there was gonna be an earthquake the day of the eclipse. This is like one of the biggest reasons, this one here. And I mean, it turns out that there still was. So anyways, when you go from the date 1618 but of the year 1618, so that's double coded right there. You see what I mean? So it's 1618 of the year 1618 to the Japan earthquake and eclipse is 406 years and 93 days, like 40693, the 4261st prime number, which is the 585th prime number. And the study of earthquakes again began in 585 BC. So that is really, really huge. But yeah, I mean, that's I guess with these connections, it's like you don't really know, like, if it's gonna, like, how severe or not severe like an earthquake is gonna be. But this is what I shared the day of the New York earthquake, before I even knew. This is the one I made a little short about, but I'm just going to share it again because it's just another example of how these earthquakes are connected to the Bible. So we looked at the 9589, how that applied to the Super Bowl earthquakes, and the 9589th prime, or the prime factorization, again, 43 times 223, and 43223 is a 4513th prime number, which is the 612th prime number. So when you convert that into that date, 9589, but forward, like in the future, from the Japan earthquake to 9589 is 3,413 weeks exactly, and that's the 480th prime number. And earthquake equals 480 in Latin. So that is the last slide. Yeah, I mean, that's 4 different days of earthquakes, and there's plenty of examples of how each of those earthquakes is connected to the Bible. Yeah, hopefully I was able to prove that, because based on what I found, to me, that's what it shows me. I'm like there's something really, really epic, really crazy about the Bible that people are most of the world does not understand, and um, there's probably so many other ways that it's connected to our reality, but the one that I'm able to find like the most is the earthquakes. Um, and yeah, I mean, I know earthquakes happen often, but I mean, these were pretty big, pretty notable ones. So it really is just up for you to decide. You don't have to agree with me, but yeah, I mean, the connections are there. I'm putting the connections there for you to come up with your own conclusions about, um, yeah, like how you feel about it. Because, like I told you, I really believe that all of these, all those connections, like, are legit. Like those earthquakes are connected to the Bible. That's how I see it. So, yeah, let me know what you think, and yeah, just let me know if you want me to like clarify anything. In the comments. If you have any questions, let me know. Um, any type of feedback, I appreciate. And yeah, I just hope you guys have a good day. Take care. God bless. Stay safe, and see you in the next one.